after approximately 3 months of working there, he asked me to go out socially with him. What happened next and telling the world about it are the two most difficult experiences of my life.
I was one of the people who was on Anita Hill's defense team, and I say defense advisedly. She shouldn't have had to have a defense team, but she certainly did. What was particularly earth-shattering for us who were representing her was thinking on one hand that we were defending an African-American woman, defending the African-American community, yet to find out when we came out of the Capitol, it was surrounded by African-Americans, many of them women, many of them praying for Clarence Thomas to be confirmed, as against this woman who was framed as essentially a white woman.
This was a classic instance of the problem. 2/3 of the black community supported the most conservative justice now sitting on the Supreme Court. And it was not just ordinary black folk supporting him. Many progressive blacks and civil rights leaders did so as well.
I, Clarence Thomas.
I, Clarence Thomas.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will.
Remember we started sitting there, we said, this is going to shape the rest of our lives?
Yeah, we did. We literally did.
Upon us, not only to be good husbands and fathers and builders of our community, but God is now calling upon the despised and the rejected to become the cornerstone and the builders of a new world.
We saw the Million Man March as representing a vision of racial justice that marginalized and trivialized the concerns of black women and girls. It symbolized, for us, a vision of racial justice that was incomplete and that was actually harmful to the black community. I've always been a proud beneficiary of affirmative action, and affirmative action has played a role in reshaping the contours of my life. To be fair, we have to go from one domain in American society to the next, where there used to be segregation, and look at the practices that institutions have put into play to make sure, right, that they actually do promote justice and fairness and racial equity across the different experiences that people still have.
We're told affirmative action only benefits the middle class. We're not told that it actually made the black middle class and Latinos, and we're not told that some of the people that we point to say, well, they're there, we don't need affirmative action, are people who actually are there because of affirmative action.
Parents at a Virginia high school are outraged after their children were shown this, which has been referred to as a white guilt video, as part of Black History Month.
It's not a white guilt video. It's about collective responsibility and collective accountability. It's not divisive. It just presents institutional and structural obstacles that do divide us. And in the alternative, it offers concrete public policies capable of making this a more equitable and just society. It shows that affirmative action is not about preferential treatment. It's about promoting equality.
My Brother's Keeper is a more focused effort on boys and young men of color who are having a particularly tough time.
The African American Policy Forum organized a statement by 250 black men and then another by over 2,500 women of color calling for the NBK campaign to expand to include black women and girls. For the first time in history, black men en masse took a stance together to denounce patriarchy.
This hearing basically began with the observation that the common sense conversation that we've been having in communities of color, the common sense conversation that says men and boys are the primary object of racism, women and girls are doing okay. So how are we going to work together to make sure that girls and women do not have to wait for the attention they deserve? Well, one of the ways we do it is we don't wait to start talking. We don't wait to get an invitation from the White House or from the caucus to come and tell our stories. We can create spaces to tell our stories. We can find commissioners to hear the stories. We can find experts who have experienced the stories. We can find young women who embody those stories and have overcome them. We can do that ourselves. So that's what we've started to do.
I'm supposed to go to school, look happy, be okay, but be homeless. I don't understand why, as a black woman, I'm told to be silent about my issues. I can't go to school and then go lay on the street and say I'm fine with that. And that's an issue.
Alberta Sproul, say her name.
Alberta Sproul.
Tanisha Anderson, say her name.
Tanisha Anderson.
Say the names of all the ones we don't know, all the ones that haven't been named yet today. Say their names.
My sister was left on the street to bleed, begging for her life. My sister went to Kings County Hospital, same hospital she was born in, same hospital she died. She went as a Jane Doe. 6 hours later is when we were notified that my sister was in the morgue.